To Chris Canty's point, do you pay okay quarterbacks north of $40 million a year? The thing with paying Tua, that's what the market dictates. That's why Tua gets paid. You have to have a quarterback, and you can't let these guys that might be the guy walk. We've got 15 quarterbacks making more than $45 million a year last season. 6 made the playoffs.
Amber Indian, weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
The TGL playoffs are on ESPN. There's a lot of adrenaline down there. With more of the best.
That is Tiger and Rory at its best.
More at stake. Justin Thomas. More primetime pressure and more when it matters most. The TGL playoffs.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Update. For the first time in school history, the UAH women's basketball team will play in the Elite Eight. Top-seeded UAH downed Eckerd Monday 66-46 to punch their ticket to Pittsburgh. Lily Wilkin led the way with UAH with 26 points. Coming up tonight on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, 7-seed UAH takes on top-seed Nova in the Sweet 16. Nova enters the game having won their last 104 straight on their home floor. Tip-off set for 6 p.m. Alabama guard Aiden Holloway has been removed from campus per the University of Alabama. This after being charged with first-degree possession of marijuana and failure to affix a tax stamp. Agents recovered more than a pound of marijuana from Holloway's residence. The Atlanta Braves assigned Huntsville native Brewer Hicklin to their minor league camp. Hicklin is expected to start the season with AAA Gwinnett. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on. That's my dog. Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Kel McPherson farting into Miles Davis's trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. And happy St. Patrick's Day as well to my Irish friends, I guess. I mean, I get to all of you that are Irish. Are we wearing of the green? I don't see anybody wearing green around here. I'm looking through the glass at my boys, and I don't see any green going on over there. But it is St. Paddy's Day, and I've got to say this: I've lived in the South now most of my adult life, and I know that Grasshopper's lived in the South his entire life. I always remember this being a much bigger deal up north than it is here. I mean, you guys that are transplants, stop me if I'm lying, but it always seemed like St. Paddy's Day was a much bigger deal up north. You know what I mean? Everybody wearing green, drinking green beer, wearing Kiss Me, I'm Irish pins and buttons and things like that, and sweatshirts, and it's a thing up there. Now, I'm being of Italian American descent. I did not partake in any of that. I rebelled against all of that. I'd like save it for Columbus Day or something. I don't know, but I never got into it. But for those of you that are into it, and those of you that are Irish, happy St. Paddy's Day, I guess. I mean, it's good. It is good to be back in the saddle, even if it's only for a couple of days. Remember, the first round of the NCAA tournament is taking us off the air Thursday and Friday. So you need to know that. But we do have a couple of days now to shake it down a little bit. Plus, tonight is the finale of the WBC. which has broken all kinds of viewership records and is still meaningless, but in a fun way. We're going to get into that with Josh Caray and Caray's Corner coming up at the bottom of the hour. How ironic is it that it's Venezuela and the U.S.? I mean, look, honestly, how is Donald Trump not down there to throw out the first pitch? I mean, he saved our country, for God's sakes. I mean, that would make such good sense if he were down there for that. But it'll be the Americans, and we got a lot to get into in that as well. Look, I'll say this. First of all, I wish they were playing this in America. I just wish they would. I mean, the place is going to be bonkers in Miami tonight, but they played in Houston and they played in Miami. Wasn't there any place in like America that they could play where we wouldn't be the visiting team against Mexico and Houston, or we wouldn't be the visiting team, against the Dominicans in Miami, and it's going to be a heavy Venezuelan crowd tonight. It's going to be that way. But at least we got the extra day to rest our staff, right? That seems a little bit unfair, doesn't it? I mean, Venezuela played last night. They burned through a bunch of it was a bullpen game basically for them. And I guess it'll be kind of a bullpen day for the U.S. maybe today. We'll see, but we'll get into that with Josh Caray. In the big dance, Alabama is a 4 seed. I do have my bracket in front of me. I've had a chance now to start looking at it a little bit. I was out of town with the Bassmaster Classic in Knoxville, and when you're doing something like what I was doing last week all the way through Sunday night, you're fully immersed in that stuff, because if you're not live, and our weigh-in show is a good 3.5 hours, to be honest with you, because I start with all of the first whole hour is all kinds of promotions and activations and people throwing stuff into the crowd. Here comes the Yamaha. Welcome now, the team Yamaha, and that kind of stuff. And then, of course, all the anglers and the introductions for all of those guys. And I do it like the guy used to do from the Chicago Bulls. Remember that guy, the PA announcer for the Chicago Bulls? That's how it is. The music starts. And now, from Coleman, Alabama, welcome Jordan Lee, and with the sound effects and all that stuff. So it's a lose your voice kind of deal. But I'm totally immersed in it, because if you're not doing that, you're doing appearances at the what do you call it, the expo, the outdoor expo. Got to go meet with all the advertisers and all the sponsors and things like that. Spend some time in those booths, and then about 2.5, 3 hours before the show starts, we have rehearsal. So I was literally in the arena for 6 hours every day, and then on the day before, they have a huge kickoff media event there was 400 media from around the world that were covering the event. And then all the anglers, and then the dignitaries and the mayor and all of that kind of stuff. And so for that deal, I'm the MC of that. So you got to MC that luncheon. So I was like lost to what was going on in the world. It just totally lost. So then the bracket comes out on Sunday, and I was just scrambling to try and find out whatever I could find out. So I'm behind in terms of getting my bracket together. But obviously Alabama comes in a 4 seed. According to the committee, they were the number 14 overall seed. So of the 4s, that means that they were 3rd in line. And now they're in Tampa and have a fairly favorable path into the Sweet 16 in Chicago next week. They start with Hofstra, and then they get the winner of the Texas Tech-Akron game, which will be Texas Tech, which is doable. But that was all when you're thinking about the team with Aiden Holloway in the lineup. And obviously now Aiden Holloway is not going to be in the lineup since the university has, quote, removed him from campus, close quote. I mean, that sounds so ominous. Removed him from campus after the arrest on now what we're learning was 2.5 pounds of ganja. Is that right? So I did some research. I would only know this through research. I did some research, and apparently it takes 0.5 gram a half a gram of marijuana to make one joint. That's what I'm learning. Okay. So to me, if it's 2.5 pounds, that sounds like 1,000 grams. So that would be like 2,000 joints. That's enough marijuana for 2,000 joints. That's a lot of ganj. That's a lot of ganj. Now, he was arrested for the ganj, and he was also charged with failure to affix a tax stamp to his dope. I don't even ever even heard of something like that. I don't even know what that means. But I have the research here. I have the research in front of me. Now, you say, why were they searching his apartment in the first place? Apparently, he was stopped on a regular traffic stop, and they found some minor amount of ganj in the car with him, which he cooperated on. He was fully cooperative. But then what happens is often in those cases, the traffic cop will report that to whoever, an investigator, and then that gives them probable cause. Something on that traffic stop must have given them probable cause to go search his apartment. So think about that. I mean, anyway, there's been a lot written about this, and I don't know what is true and what isn't true. I'll be totally honest with you. All I know is that Holloway is Alabama's second leading scorer. He's their leading three-point shooter. He's averaging 17 points a game. He shoots 44% from the three, puts up 6 threes a game. And sure enough, if they do get to the Sweet 16, by the way, they catch the number 1 seed Michigan. Just as Wolverine Dan had been barking about. I want Alabama. Well, I'm just going to say this. They weren't beating Michigan with Aiden Holloway, but they would have had a shot with Aiden Holloway. I don't think they're beating them without Aiden Holloway. I don't know if they could beat Texas Tech without Aiden Holloway. But we'll see. Rumors are flying, but we do have Kennington Lloyd Smith of the AP in Tuscaloosa coming up at the top of the 11 to help us sort all of this out during another episode of Skinny Kenny and the Fat Man. So we'll have that coming up a little bit later on. So your phone lines are wide open. Feel free to jump in and contribute at 256-576-4977. That number is good wherever and however you consume the show. We got a text window for you as well. That's open. We'll read and react to those on the air. 732-9TA show. 732-982-7469. That's the text window. And you can watch the show as well on WZZN TV on the YouTube or the Facebook or the X. You can find it at my X feed at Thom Abraham Show. And I did what I said I wasn't going to do when I'm in studio here. I wore a black hoodie, which means I'm now fading into the background. But anyway, you can check that out as well. Now, our top 10 today deals with all the different things that the NCAA will not allow us to say when referring to the tournament in paid promotional materials. Now, people say, can you say March Madness? Can you say the big dance? Can you say, yes, editorially, I can say any of that stuff. But when we're running our contest, our bracket challenge contest, thankfully, bracket challenge is not on the list of things you can't say. But we can't say it's our March Madness contest because it's sponsored by Talent Heating and Air. So if we say the Talent Heating and Air March Madness contest, we get sued by the NCAA. You can't use their trade. So we knew that March Madness and Final Four were on that list. There are more. Remember, our top 10 doesn't have to have 10 things on it, or it doesn't have to be on a Tuesday. In this case, it's got about 30 things on it, maybe, and it is on a Tuesday. So we'll get that in. However, we will say this. We are allowed to say bracket challenge, and that's what we have for you. You can find the link at the socials at 97.7 and also at my X feed at Thom Abraham Show. Okay? We have a great grand prize for you. The grand prize is a full family membership for 1 year at Cherokee Ridge. And you say, well, Doug, I don't play golf. Do you play tennis? I don't play tennis. Do you play pickleball? I do like to play a little pickleball. Do you swim? Do you have kids? Do you want to take them to the pool? Do you want to use the restaurant? It's a country club. It's a full-blown country club. So you get use of everything. The pool, the courts, the course, dining, all of it. All of it. It's a $4,000 value. All of it. But I've added a little something special for you. Everyone who beats me, everyone who finishes ahead of me gets a I Beat the Big Dog t-shirt. But you're going to have to hit the text window to request it. I'm not just giving it to anybody who beats me unless they text. I'll know that they're part of the show when they text and say, hey, I beat the big dog. And then I'll hook you up with your t-shirt. So basically, it's for folks that are actually listening to the show or following me on the X. All right, over there in Mission Control on the other side of the glass. Playing the Play Doesn't Matter, the Stacks of Wax, answer the phones, keeping us on the air, shoulder to shoulder with the mic-less one, Hollywood Hogan. It is the prodigy, the grasshopper. It's young John Michael.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. They talk when they should listen.
Give me back my son!
I don't like violence, Thom. I'm a businessman.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
If you ain't first, you're last. He's got Abraham down.
What a catch!
What a catch! A leaping catch at the 45-yard lines, and he brings it in.
Wait, I'm not hosting today?
No.
Oh.
No, you get the day off. I understand we got some breaking news.
Yeah,
I don't know. Do we have breaking news over there? Where's our breaking news thing? Yeah. Start the show out with some breaking news. Sent over to me by the mic-less one. Can we get a mic in front of this kid or whatever? I mean, another week has gone by. No mic.
Supposed to have a guy on that.
Yeah. Jalen Waddle has been traded to the Broncos. So Jalen Waddle is now a Denver Bronco. So that's okay, enough with the breaking news. So that's Bo Nix to Jalen Waddle. That's a little Auburn to Alabama connection there. That's a problem. What did they trade for him? What did they get for, do we know yet what they got for
30th overall pick?
Oh, they got a 1? They got the Denver's first round pick for Jalen Waddle?
Oh, we're trying to get all of the info.
Let's get the details here before
it did just happen.
It can't be the first. I'm looking at the TVs in here in the studio. There's nothing on yet there but a Peyton Manning commercial. Peyton Manning still got a major NIL deals. Peyton Manning now doing NIL for U.S. Bank. I mean, nobody has more NIL. Breaking news. Here it is. It's coming on.
O'Neal has
Broncos are trading for Miami's Jalen Waddle per source. Denver receives Waddle and the Dolphins' 4th round pick, 11th in round, I don't know, this year. Miami receives Broncos' 1st round pick, 30th overall, along with their late 3rd and 4th round picks in this year's draft.
Nice.
Let me tell you something. Dolphins made out. Dolphins got a 1, a 3, and a 4 for Jalen Waddle.
The rebuild is officially happening.
But did you ever feel like Jalen Waddle had met his full potential with the Dolphins? There were times he flashed. But how many? It seems like every time I watch a Dolphin game, Jalen Waddle's being helped off the field.
I will say that there have been times that he's looked really good. This past year,
in between injuries,
was not the case, and that sucks because he was the number 1 at times. But I think that there's definitely an ability for him to go on and be that number 1. But there's a lot of wide receivers.
Stay healthy.
There's a lot of receivers out in Denver that are going to be able to test him.
Put the research team on it. How old is Jalen Waddle? How many years has he been in the league? Is he 4, 5, 6 years in the league now? I mean, he's not old. He should be in his prime.
27 years
27 years old, but you're getting a 1. Put the research crew on it. When was he drafted? Was he a 1st round draft pick, Jalen Waddle? Because you're getting a 1, a 3, and a 4, or a 1, a 4, and a 5?
He was the 6th overall back in 2021.
6th overall? And he gets traded for the 30th overall after 15 injuries. He's had a lot of injuries. Can't pull for him with it. Can't pull for the Broncos. I can't pull for the Broncos.
Definitely can't.
I can't pull for the Steelers either, but I can pull for Steeler Mike. I like Steeler Mike. Steeler Mike, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are we this morning?
Fantastic.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm a huge Tennessee fan, Tommy. You know that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt. I do not like Alabama in sports. My kids went to school at Alabama, but it is a shame to me, and I'm going to be probably the minority of your callers that feel this way, but it's the way I feel. We've got wars going on all over this world of ours. We've got a fentanyl issue. We've got kids dying. And we're going after a kid at Alabama for some weed? For real? I mean, seriously, if you think about it, we're ruining this kid's career over stuff that is legal in a lot of states. Yeah, it's not illegal in Alabama, and we know why. Because of our right-wing government. That's cool, whatever. But we're really putting a lot into arresting a kid, ruining a kid's life, basically, over something that's legal in so many states.
Yeah,
these kids smoke weed.
Yeah,
Get over it, old school people. These kids smoke weed. They do.
Yeah, but do you think that's look 2.5 pounds? I mean, that's not for him to smoke, right? I mean, that's 1,000 joints.
I don't care if he is selling it.
Yeah.
I don't care if he is selling it. It's weed.
Yeah,
it's weed. It's not coke. It's not fentanyl. It's not a war where people are dying in Iraq. It's weed.
Is it is weed? Do you think weed? And I never smoked, so I mean I tried it once in college. It didn't do anything for me. But do you think weed is a gateway drug to harder drugs? Which would be like saying is beer a gateway drink to harder alcohol? You know what I mean? I don't know.
If weed is, alcohol is, and we know how big of an alcohol problem we have in this country, right?
Yeah,
we have a massive alcohol problem in this country. We have kids driving around drunk, wrecking cars and killing people. It's in the news once a month.
Yeah,
and we're still talking about weed. What point are we going to wake up in this country and realize you need to treat weed like alcohol? That kid should have got a ticket for having an open container in his car, and that was it. That's my rant. Yeah, I love you guys, but
appreciate it.
That's my rant. Have a great day, guys.
All right, man. Thanks. I have always said this about the weed issue, and I look. I don't really drink. I mean, I had one beer the whole time I was in Knoxville after the last show, and I just had a nice Bud Light, and that's it. But I'm not a drinker. I don't drink hard liquor or anything like that. I'll have a beer every once in a while. Come off a golf course, have a beer. But I don't drink. It just goes down so nice and smooth. But I don't drink I don't like anything that alters my mind. I don't want ever to be mind altering. Okay. I don't want to ever not have my full faculties. You know what I mean? So I was never one that did any drugs or any excessive drinking or anything like that. Having said that, I always wondered why it would be okay for people to get hammered, but not okay for people to get stoned. It's like, what's the difference how you achieve being hammered, whether you're high on alcohol or high on marijuana? Now, some people have made the argument that marijuana is a gateway drug to harder drugs. I don't know. But if all I know is I grew up in a household where they drank wine. I grew up in an Italian household, and there was a lot of wine that get drunk. And I have daughters that enjoy a glass of wine, and they'll have a couple of glasses of wine maybe to unwind at the end of a tough day or whatever. And my mother drank wine, and it was just a way to loosen up. People go home after work and they have a drink. It kind of take the edge off, whatever. So the stigma to smoking a joint to take the edge off versus having a Scott. Like if you were like back in the day, right? The Rat Pack. You don't even know who the Rat Pack is, but the Rat Pack guys like Sinatra and Dean Martin and Joey Bishop and those Rat Pack guys, they were super cool. They always had a drink, in their hand. They would do their bits or they would do their songs, and Frank Sinatra would come out, and he was like the coolest dude ever, and he'd come out and he'd have a highball. You'd have a glass with, a whiskey glass with a two fingers of whiskey in there on the rocks, And it was like, these guys are the coolest guys ever. But if he'd have come out with a joint in his hand, it would be like he's a pothead. The guy's a pothead. So having said, now I'm not endorsing any of it use-wise, but from a legality standpoint, I really do kind of, So it's okay. I have a grandfather that drank 2 6-packs of beer a night, every night of his life. He only lived to 88. But it was his routine. He was a mechanic. My grandfather, Dominic Lipoma. And every night he came home and he'd start at about, 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever it was. And he'd have 6, 8, 10 beers every night. Go to sleep, half in a bag. I mean, he would handle it because he was conditioned to it. And it was nothing. It wasn't anything that we really thought of very much. Grandpa's having a few beers. But what if Grandpa sat there on a couch and smoked a couple of joints?
Men's would be chilling.
Yeah. So now the other legalities of it, this whole stamp thing, that's a whole nother story. And we'll get into that a little bit later on with Skinny Kenny. All right, we're going to get a break in here. When we come back, let's talk some baseball. We have baseball tonight. And I'll be honest with you. Who's watching First Four versus watching U.S. versus Venezuela? This U.S. versus Venezuela, 9 million viewers tonight. It's going to be very similar to USA versus Canada in the gold medal game. It might get 10 million viewers tonight. Okay? I'm just saying. It's going to blow away First Four in the tournament. We'll talk about it next with Josh Caray and Caray's Corner right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
Westwood One presents Great Moments in Tournament History. Brought to you by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer.
The year Butler finally did it. A script so good, it could have been a movie. After several years of knocking on the door, Butler came crashing through in 2010 and made a historic run that captivated college basketball. Gordon Hayward led the mid-major Bulldogs past more heralded schools en route to an unlikely berth in the Final Four.
Second free throw, no good. Rebound, Hayward has it for Butler, and this ball game is over. And Butler, yes, Butler will play for a national championship on Monday night. Butler defeats Michigan State.
But the Bulldogs couldn't complete the Hollywood ending, falling just short to Duke in the final, 61-59. Nevertheless, Butler's memorable march is another great moment in tournament history.
97.7, The Zone.
What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars? 3 end-zone sports bars. And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. End Zone Sports Bar.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
No Wi-Fi? How are we going to stream the game?
Mom, I have a research project due.
How are we going to make dinner?
Don't let power outages send your family into a meltdown. Get a Generac generator from Current Electrical. We keep your lights on and your Wi-Fi on. Visit gensuperstore.com or call 256-880-1880. Trust us, your family will thank you.
Most current way to keep your power on. GeneracSuperstore.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming.
At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Truck Month is on at Woody Anderson Ford. Right now, save $13,000 on 25 F-150, $9,500 on 25 Super Duty, and $5,000 on 25 Maverick. Get financing as low as 0% for 60 months, plus $1,000 bonus cash on select models. 25 Lightning, F-150, or Super Duty, 0 down payment and 0 payments for 90 days. All incentives applied. Alt MSRP with approved credit. Offers in 3/31/26. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Nobody does Truck Month like Woody Anderson Ford.
ALCert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are our grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490. Or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by my friends at All About Water LLC. Well, you can learn more about them at allaboutwaterllc.com. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but look, they do everything that has anything to do with water, whether it's building a pond or refreshing your pond or a water feature on your property or drainage on your property. Whatever it is involving water, they do it. That includes irrigation, maintenance of your irrigation, installation of irrigation. All About Water LLC.
So down on the corner, the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Oh, yeah, baby. Talking more baseball than we usually talk this time of year. Here it is, tournament week, brackets, everything else. And that happens every year during spring training. We take a little break from spring training, and we know that pretty much when the tournament gets to the final weekend, the baseball season is starting. But this year, it just feels different because of the WBC. And I am on record over the years of not being a fan of the WBC. Because I just don't want my guy to get hurt. I mean, that's just basically the bottom line. And I know they can get hurt in spring training and so on, but I think guys push themselves harder when they have their nation's jersey there and there's 50,000 fans in the stands and the atmosphere is incredible. And now you got people like Aaron Judge comparing it to the World Series when really it's just an exhibition tournament. But it has kind of taken the sporting world by storm. And it will have a huge audience tonight. And joining us to talk about that, to talk a little baseball, is the man himself, Josh Caray of the Caray Broadcasting family and Caray's Corner and the voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And he is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline and online with us as well on WZZN TV. Josh, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Tom, and looking forward to tonight. Should be a lot of fun having the U.S. back in there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of fun having the U.S. in there, and U.S. against Venezuela. I mean, it just drips with irony, right? With everything that went on with Venezuela and Maduro and all of that, you would think that somehow, some way, President Trump would get himself down to Miami and throw out the first pitch or something, since he basically saved their country, I mean, it would be nuts.
Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of the MO, and I don't even want to get political, but that's pretty much what he would do. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be such a fun atmosphere because you got two countries that love baseball so much, but approach it in such different fashions. Obviously the emotion of the Venezuelans and I guess the more subtle nature of American fans, but both so intense in their passion for the game, and so many major leaguers on both sides. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have taken offense, and I've gotten crushed on social media for it, but I have taken offense to people who somehow think that, the Americans don't care about baseball the way the Latin players care about baseball because the players and the fans don't react the same. The atmosphere is phenomenal. I love it. I love watching a game from Japan where the fans are nuts. I mean, it's like a soccer game over there. But the players in Japan, they show a lot of respect. U.S. players generally show a lot of respect. They're not going to go crazy over every made out and so on. But I don't think that when you go to 100 and when you have 82 games at home or 81 games at home in baseball, I don't need to be going nuts all the time at a baseball game. I enjoy sitting at the baseball game, taking in the ball game. It's a relaxing sport played at a relaxing speed. It doesn't have to be like a football game. And I don't think that means that we love baseball any less than anybody else loves baseball.
Well, no, and it's just, I think it's a culture thing. I mean, you go down to Venezuela and you go watch a soccer match, every goal they go nuts, right? And you go over to Brazil and there's a goal, everyone goes nuts. That's just kind of what they do. That's their thing. And for us, we're much more subdued about it. It's just an everyday, if someone hits a home run or someone gets a base hit or someone makes a great diving play, we cheer and we clap, but then we move on. And it's just a very different vibe. I don't think either one is right or wrong. There was obviously a time where if you celebrated too much, you got one in the ear the next time you came to the plate. But I think we've all moved past that now. And I think we've become much more accommodating of other cultures and how they present themselves on the national stage. And it makes things very interesting, makes things a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what, other than the game on the field, I would just love to be in the stands just watching the fans interact. I would dare say it would be Yankees-Red Sox-esque in terms of the maybe the banter back and forth.
Yeah, no, it would be absolutely. And I would imagine there'd be a lot of security involved, too, because it can get a little bit crazy. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It could get nuts, but we'll see how it all shakes out. I will say this. If that was the Dominican team that had, that throw that Aaron Judge made to gun that guy down 96-mile-an-hour throw at third base, or Bobby Witt's double play from behind the bag and stuff, they would have had to stop the game and have a parade. That's what would happen. I mean, they wouldn't be playing yet. It would still be the sixth inning after Bobby Witt made that play, because those guys go nuts over it. To me, it feels contrived sometimes. It almost feels like they're playing up the fact that everybody expects them to celebrate every freaking catch they make in the outfield or play they make in the infield.
Yeah, maybe it is contrived, but you got to admit, it's entertaining, isn't it? And this is what that baseball's been pushing for years now is, they want to let the kids play, and they want to show that joyful exuberance and that excitement. Now, do I think it's a little over the top sometimes? Sure, I'm willing to go with that. And I guarantee if the Dominicans and the Venezuelans were playing this ball game, we would have about a 10-hour game. Yeah. But I will say that, again, there is a space for that type of behavior. It's going to be just very interesting to watch the two teams interact and how the fans interact with each other. And we've seen it percolate into the Major League game as well. And honestly, I think it's been good for the game of baseball as well. We're starting to attract younger fans, which is what this has all been about as well.
I mean, I love the passion and so on, but sometimes it's entertaining in a Savannah Banana way. And I'll watch the Savannah Bananas if I want to see that. I'll watch the Harlem Globetrotters if that's what I want to see. I loved Aaron Judge's reaction after he gunned that guy down and he just did the little kind of pistol whip thing and trotting in. To me, that's cool. I'm an old dude. I guess I get it. I'm the old white dude in the room, but I don't need those antics to thoroughly enjoy and be excited about it. And when you win the game and it's over with, and you get all excited, that's the time to me to celebrate. Believe me, they'll celebrate when they win the game. That's for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, it's all a cultural thing. If you've ever seen like the Venezuelan Winter League or the Dominican Winter League, and how those guys interact with each other and how those leagues are played. In fact, I'll go so far as to tell you that winning a Dominican championship or a Venezuelan championship means more to those players than the World Series title, because there's just so much tribalism and nationalism and pride on the line. I mean, they take a lot of passion into that as well, and that's what their thing is, and it works for them. It's like us having a beer and going to a bar and eating some wings on an NFL Sunday. That's just what they do.
Yeah.
And it works for them. And as long as we have this strong Latin contingent in baseball, which we've had now for several decades, it's always going to be like that. And I'm fine with it, just as long as it doesn't go so far as to warrant disrespect. And I think you can say that's happened at times, but I guarantee you they would tell you it's not disrespectful. It's just them being them.
Josh Caray with us here talking about tonight's game. Of course, the U.S. and Venezuela for the World Baseball Championship. It would be the second one for the U.S. They won in 2017 as well. They've been in the final. I think this will be the third straight year that they've been in the final game. It's just a one and done. It's no series. Baseball typically is about series. This is just a one and done deal, and that's it. And look, let's just say this. I think when you first saw the headline about Aaron Judge's comment, where they made it sound like he said that this is bigger than the World Series. That's not what he said. It was just typical social media running with something and, oh my gosh, Aaron Judge said that this is more important than the World Series. It's not. I went back and actually watched his comment. What he said was the atmosphere was bigger than the World Series. The atmosphere was different than the one he played in against the Dodgers. And it absolutely is because of the international flavor. But I don't think, Aaron, this is not bigger than winning the World Series. This is an exhibition tournament. It's not even the Olympics. This is not bigger than the World Series. And I don't think that's what Aaron Judge was saying.
No, absolutely not. And if you've ever been to a World Series, if you've ever been to a Super Bowl, I have, you know how corporate it is. I mean, sometimes you got so many suits and so many sponsors who are being taken care of and who are sitting in the stands for those events. You sometimes lose the fan passion that you would typically expect. This, you don't have as much of that. I mean, you still got sponsors and whatnot that MLB is taking care of, but really this is much more fan induced, and you're seeing a lot more of not just fans, but the common fan, the everyday guy who saves up enough money, buys a ticket, goes to watch his national team play. And that has a lot of bearing, especially if you live in Miami and you live in Houston and you're Venezuelan or you're Dominican and you're not an Astros fan or you're not a Marlins fan. And judging by the Marlins attendance, I don't think a lot of them are. You have to find something to sink your teeth into, and you have to find something to root for, and that's exactly what the Venezuelan national team and the Dominican national team represent for those folks. And so when they finally get to go to a game and have something to genuinely cheer for, it just means that much. If I'm not a big Mississippi fan. If I went to an Ole Miss football game, I don't really care if they win or lose. I'm just going for the experience. But if I have a passion for a certain team and I really want them to win, then suddenly my energy level is going to go up.
Yeah, and the two things that concern me with this WBC, and it's been my concern ever since it started, is, well, one, the injury issue. And that's the thing. I always worry about pitchers, and I worry about fielders that are doing things that they wouldn't normally do in a spring training game. So I do worry about an injury that takes a guy out for a couple of months if that were to happen. We haven't really had too much of that going on so far in this tournament. The other thing that I worry about is the locker room. We saw that scenario that played out, between the Big Dumper and Randy Arozarena with Seattle, where they wouldn't shake hands, and it got kind of, there were some words that were said, and supposedly they talked afterwards. But at some point in time, in the clubhouse, something could come up where baseball players have long memories, where a guy's going to be like, that guy's a jerk, or he's whatever. I do worry about that. I worry about teammate on teammate, and then they got to jump in the same clubhouse, in the same hotels and everything else for the next 6 months. And I worry a little bit if it gets too nasty, if you will, in the competition.
Well, that's where your manager comes in. And your manager has to pull everyone aside and say, look, whatever happened during the Classic, whatever is happening off the field, you guys got to squash them when you enter this clubhouse. And when you go out on the field and you go play a game for the next 2.5 to 3 hours, you got to make sure you're on the same page. Whenever I hear stuff like that, I think of the Oakland Athletics from the 1970s. Those guys hated each other. But they still won 3 consecutive world titles. The New York Yankees of the 1970s, they didn't like each other very much, but they still made it work because they all understood that when we take the field day to day, it's our job to go out there and make sure we have more runs than the other team. And that's where you got to have a really good manager. That's where you got to have a really good coaching staff. You got to have some veteran leaders in there who can kind of pull everyone together. Overall, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal unless the Big Dumper and Randy want to make it a big deal. That's really just up to them. But making sure there's just some good camaraderie in the clubhouse and making sure that all is squashed by the time you take the field.
Josh Caray with us here talking about tonight's big game. It's going to have a huge audience. It could go 10 million. It'll be bigger, I think, because of the timing of the game in prime time. I think it'll get a bigger audience than U.S. and Canada got in the Olympics. That was over 9 million there. It's going to completely crush the first 4 games tonight in the tournament. If you consider that to be the tournament, it's kind of like a play-in thing. I think they've, kind of come to grips with that. However, Josh, if this was the Olympics, if this was the World Series, you're not rolling. Listen, I know Nolan McLean has looked great in his 8 starts that he had with the Mets last year. 8, okay? That's not the guy you're rolling out, right? I mean, if this is such a big deal, why are they throwing a rookie out there that got shelled against Italy, and he's the one that you're pinning your hopes on winning the World Baseball Classic on, and then the pitch count issue and so on. I guess technically, letter of the law, he could throw as many as 95 pitches tonight if he was good enough to do that. However, the Mets have pretty much told Mark DeRosa try and keep it under 70. Those types of things are the things that make you realize this is an exhibition.
Yeah, and what's so hard about it, Tom, is it doesn't matter what you do with it. I mean, you can do it during spring training. You can do it in the middle of the summer and replace the All-Star game with it. You could do it sometime after the World Series. At the end of the day, you're asking guys to step away from their major league team and go pitch in an exhibition or play in an exhibition knowing full well they could get hurt or get overused or whatever the case may be, and suddenly not be available for the team that is paying them a lot of money to perform. And because of that, there's always going to be a restraint. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always going to be kind of a little asterisk, and let's face it, baseball knows something about asterisks. There's going to be a little asterisk next to these things because you're not getting the full bore of whoever is out there. I would love to see Paul Skeens go 8 innings and give up 3 hits and no runs. We know that's not going to happen in an exhibition. And so with that said, you got to be always mindful of the fact that if you're betting on this thing, you're probably insane because you don't know all the variables that go into this. It's always going to have a restraint on it, and I don't know what that's going to mean for the future of the World Baseball Classic, say in 8 to 10 years. That part I'm a little concerned about because we're always going to have a question mark next to it.
Well, and Tarek Skubal, for example, it was like, okay, he had his one outing with Team USA and then couldn't pitch anymore, and yet he threw 62 pitches for the Tigers on Saturday. He could have been going on Sunday, and you could have had Paul Skeens available for Tuesday.
Yeah.
Why is it he could throw 62 pitches on Saturday? He couldn't throw 62 pitches on Sunday, and they're trying to time it out so he's the opening day pitcher. But yet, opening day still not for a couple of weeks. I mean, I know that it's opening earlier than usual. And then they wanted to bring Joe Ryan in from the Twins and to have like 2 guys that could go in this final. They could have McLean go 3 or 4 innings and then Joe Ryan 3 or 4 innings. And the Twins said, no, he's a starter. If you're not going to use him as a starter, we're going to leave him here in camp, and he's getting ready to start the season. So those types of things, take away from the overall. As much as we're going to watch it, the crowds are going to be going crazy. I get all of that. But we got to understand that this is not like the Olympic hockey team playing and it's all hands on deck. It's not like that.
Yeah, and the question is, how do you get it to that point? Because the Olympic hockey tournament was fantastic, and they allowed their players, the NHL owners allowed their players to go full bore on that thing, and that's what made it so good. I don't know how you do that with baseball, especially when the tournament would be, if you did the Olympics, it would be right in the middle of the season. You're doing right now the World Baseball Classic at the very, very beginning of the season when guys are trying to get stretched out. And ultimately, they're playing on a team that doesn't pay their salary. It's the Tigers, it's the Twins, it's the Red Sox, it's the Yankees, it's the Braves, it's the Angels who are paying these guys salaries. And they have to be cautious of that as well. They're having to put out insurance policies on these guys. It's just, that's the part of it that's a mess. So it's a beautiful mess. It's a lot of fun to watch, but you know full well you're not seeing these guys at their best right now, and you're not seeing Mark DeRosa being able to really manage, I'm sure, the way he would like to, because he's got to be mindful of the fact that these guys have a full 6 months ahead of them devoted to a team that's paying them a lot of money to do their work.
Yeah, using your hockey analogy, those guys were in midseason form, and what happened? You had two teams that are in playoff races, the LA Kings and the Pittsburgh Penguins, that lost their best player for, the Kings lost their guy, Fiala, for the rest of the season, and Crosby hasn't played since the Olympics. And here they're trying to make a run to get into the playoffs, and that's the flip side of it. Of course, hockey's a more physical sport, than baseball, but baseball can be that way as well. All right, man. I know you're going out to Arizona. Listeners on Talk Radio WZZN will be able to hear you on Thursday with the Prospects game out there. So that's going to be really cool as well. And it won't be long. We'll be getting it going down there at Toyota Field.
Yeah, going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to getting out to Arizona. It's going to be tight. I got to get out there fast. They've moved the game up, actually, Tom, a couple of hours because they got a huge heat wave going through Arizona. So it's going to be nice to get out there, but hopefully we can get set up and hit air on time.
We need to get that heat wave back here. I mean, that's what we need. Heat wave.
It's coming. It's coming.
It is coming. All right, man. Appreciate you as always.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
All right, we'll grab a break, and when we come back, we'll set you up for hour number 2. It's the Thom Abraham Show. Back with more in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brett Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Auburn and Georgia Tech meeting college baseball today. The Tigers plus 114 on the money line. The Ramblin' Wreck minus 145. Alabama $1.66 favorite against South Alabama, while Jacksonville State lays $5.20 against Samford plus 350. Alabama guard Aiden Holloway arrested on felony drug charges. More than a pound of marijuana seized from his apartment. He's averaging better than 16 points a game for the Crimson Tide, second leading scorer on the team. Alabama bet down from a 14.5 point to 11.5 point favorites over Hofstra in the first round of the NCAA tournament Friday in Tampa. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your number one choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon, but it is in no way, shape, or form going to be warm this St. Patrick's Day. Temperatures only climbing into the mid-40s, dropping into the low mid-30s as we head into the overnight. More cloud cover for your Wednesday. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-50s, dropping into the upper 30s, back into the 60s for your Thursday.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231. All right, we got a busy second hour for you. We will get the phone lines going again. But we're going to kick it off with Kennington, Lloyd Smith of the AP in Tuscaloosa on the Aiden Holloway story and what it means to Alabama's chances. I might slip in a question about spring ball in there as well and how that's going. They've determined who the left tackle is going to be, which is interesting. They have to go ahead and make that decision right now. Kind of like that, to be honest with you. Our top 10 as well, we'll get to that. And we'll get to the Tennessee Oilers uniforms. Get my thoughts in on that as well. Our top 10 is going to be the things that we can't say in advertising materials. As long as we're not promoting something from an advertising standpoint. We can say certain things. People sometimes they'll text and they say, you can't say Final Four. You can't say March Madness. Well, you can. You just can't in the purposes of advertising. If you're making money, if you have hey, our Final Four segment brought to you by All About Waters coming up next. You can't do that. But you could say bracket challenge, and that's what we have for you as well.
It's the tournament challenge, but yeah.
It's not bracket challenge? I thought we always called it the bracket challenge. Tournament challenge? That sounds kind of stupid. All right, we'll be back. Kennington Lloyd Smith is next. Skinny Kenny and the Fat Man. We'll be back.
The Orthopedic Center. It's in the name. TOC, the premier choice for all your orthopedic needs. With over 40 physicians and 20 centers of excellence, TOC is the name to trust for complete, expert orthopedic care. And that word center, we mean it. With more than a dozen locations across North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley, TOC is in your community whenever you need us. As the state's largest orthopedic practice, TOC is built on trust. Trust we've earned with every patient we serve. You can see that trust on the field, too. As the official sports medicine provider for the Huntsville Havoc, Huntsville City Football Club, Oakwood and Alabama A&M universities, thousands of athletes and coaches count on TOC to keep them in the game. From student athletes to unexpected injuries, our urgent ortho clinics offer prompt, expert care. No appointment necessary. So remember, when it comes to your health and mobility, trust the name that says it all. TOC, helping you live a better life.
So, what's your excuse?
Can these sick people be cured?
You'll need a few good ones because we're going to be locked to the tournament in just a few weeks.
Rivers for three. With his ability to drive, you're looking at a superstar.
It's the most maddening time in college hoops.
It's alive!
And we've got the big dance covered.
The flipper still fits!
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
Thom Abraham here for my longtime friend Mike Owen of Owen Home Appliance. You know, Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance prides themselves on community involvement as well, sponsoring local teams and events while making sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. Visit their highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Update. For the first time in school history, the UAH women's basketball team will play in the Elite Eight. Top-seeded UAH downed Eckerd Monday 66-46 to punch their ticket to Pittsburgh. Lily Wilkin led the way with UAH with 26 points. Coming up tonight on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, 7-seed UAH takes on top-seed Nova in the Sweet 16. Nova enters the game having won their last 104 straight on their home floor. Tip-off set for 6 p.m. Alabama guard Aiden Holloway has been removed from campus per the University of Alabama. This after being charged with first-degree possession of marijuana and failure to affix a tax stamp. Agents recovered more than a pound of marijuana from Holloway's residence. The Atlanta Braves assigned Huntsville native Brewer Hicklin to their minor league camp. Hicklin is expected to start the season with AAA Gwinnett. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by USSSA Softball. If you're looking for a great tournament to put your team in, your high school level softball team in, you need to check out alfastpitch.uSSSA.com and find out where the best tournaments are. Anywhere throughout North Alabama, they've got great tournaments. Go ahead and check it out. alfastpitch.uSSSA.com. That's alfastpitch.uSSSA.com.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. Guys know what they're talking about. Be a dog. God bless the show. You are the Messiah. We need more dogs. This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Dale McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome in. It is a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. Happy St. Patrick's Day. If you're into that sort of thing, me being Italian-American, I don't really get into it, but that's all right. I got Irish friends, so, it's I've lived in the South most of my adult life. It was a much bigger deal up north than it is down here. The green beer and the where kiss me, I'm Irish and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you people don't do that, which is I'm kind of happy about that. That's for sure. We got a lot to get into here in this hour of the show. We welcome in a new audience listening in Nashville and Nashville Sports Radio and Murfreesboro to go along with our friends, 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville and, of course, ESPN Winchester in Winchester, Tennessee as well. We'll get the phone lines going on again in a little bit. If you want to get in line, you can do it at 256-576-4977. And finally, you can watch the show as well on WZZN TV, on the YouTube, on the Facebook, on the X. Find it at my X feed, which is at Thom Abraham Show. Alabama is a 4 seed in the tournament. And, of course, the big news is all surrounding Aiden Holloway. And joining us for another episode of Skinny Kenny and the Fat Man. Oh, yeah. I'm talking about right there. Kennington, Lloyd, Smith of the AP in Tuscaloosa. Get it! You know, I just figured out why you guys used the South Park. Kenny! They killed Kenny. Kenny, welcome in, man. How are you?
I'm good. Why am I not on the screen?
There you are. Now you are. Okay.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. I'm looking at.
I can't see myself on my screen. It looks like I just have the little gray man circling. But I had to take a picture of that. That is hysterical.
Oh, she's
that is hilarious. But I'm happy to be on with you for another episode. And slow news day in Tuscaloosa, huh?
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I didn't even think about when they made that image. I looked at it. They showed it to me before I came in the studio. And in Skinny Kenny with an a Georgia grad with an Alabama hat on.
But don't please don't show that to my friends and family. They're gonna send out a wellness check. They're like, is everything okay with you? That's hilarious.
All right, so the Aiden Holloway story obviously is dominating the news cycle right now, not only locally, but really as we get ready for the tournament, a lot of people are talking about it. We heard a pound yesterday, then we heard 2.5 pounds today, then we heard he was delivering to people on the team, then we heard it was his own. I mean, there's so much rumor flying around this thing. Tell us what the probable cause was, first of all, for them to actually go and search his apartment, and where we're at right now in terms of overall ramifications.
Yeah, I think the probable cause question is still a little bit in question. I've seen some reporting that there was a traffic stop involving him last week with Tuscaloosa police where they found some loose weed in his car. Maybe that was enough probable cause to send in a tip. Maybe it's a coincidence, but that's what I've seen being reported. I feel like, a lot of that's going to be coming out in discovery. As far as the ramifications of this, he has been removed from campus, but that does not necessarily mean that he's been kicked off of the team or kicked out of school. I think that's an important distinction to make. He's just been removed from campus pending an investigation, and that was a decision made by the Student Code of Conduct policy at Alabama. So him getting back on campus is going to be a matter of him meeting before them, but Alabama's on spring break this week, in addition to the NCAA tournament. So nothing's going to be able to happen this week unless there's some exception, which I think is unlikely. So he's tabled at least this week. They're going to probably meet before the council or the judge or whoever it is of student conduct, I imagine, next week, and we'll see what happens from there. Legally, not sure about how quickly his case is going to go, but Nate Oates said last night on his college show that they're going to support him in any way that they can, and I believe him to do so. Obviously, he is a very strong players coach. He's garnered a reputation for being as such. Some people debate whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he backs his players to the fullest. So they're going to back him in this, and they're going to try to get him the help that he needs. But I wouldn't be so sure to just say that Aiden Holloway is done playing basketball at Alabama, even if it's not this season.
One of the things that's not being talked about here is the fact that he is out on bond right now. He's out on bail. Right? So when you're out on bond, you can't leave the state. I mean, so right off the bat, there's no way he would be able to go to Tampa anyway, no matter what the student council or whatever, if they make it to Chicago, he's not leaving the state of Alabama until the charges were dropped. That's what would have to happen. And it seems to be with that kind of weight, that's felony weight. I don't see how any of this gets settled, before the end of this tournament. And And look, I don't know that if it's Michigan that they run into, I would love to see Georgia knock off Michigan. That would be fantastic. And it's in the second round.
You and me both.
Yeah, right. But if he were, I don't know that they're beating Michigan with him. They're not definitely. I mean, beating Michigan without him if they can get to Chicago in the first place. But I think that part of the story, he's on bail. You can't leave the state. I mean, there's no way he's going anywhere anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, obviously things can happen in the legal system, emergency hearings or whatever the case may be. So I guess you could never say never, but you are right. This is a serious offense, regardless of, what people are speculating. Now, this idea that you brought up of, distributing to his teammates or selling to his teammates, that would be a whole nother situation. He has not been charged with intent to distribute, to my knowledge. A report from my colleague Nick Kelly said that he told the police that he only uses it for himself, which would be a big distinction in this situation where we're talking about a possible addiction versus somebody who is actually selling drugs, which would be, like I said, huge distinction there. So as far as it getting taken care of before the tournament is over, I think you're right that is probably wishful thinking. I think the question is Aiden Holloway going to be playing basketball at Alabama next year? I don't think that his basketball career is over, but is it over in Tuscaloosa is probably the big question at hand. If Nate Oates has anything to say about it and they go through the necessary steps, maybe he's not done at Alabama, but you are right. This puts a ceiling on what Alabama's season is going to be this year because he is an awesome shooter and an excellent scorer. And without him, Alabama is going to run into some trouble as they get into the tournament. Obviously, LeBaron Fallon is great, but outside of him, I mean, who else is really like a consistent offensive player? Latrell Wrightsl's been good as of late, but Amari Allen's been inconsistent lately. Aiden Sherrill is a good, 12, 14-point guy, but is he going to be able to, expand that out to 20 points to get them, past the Sweet 16? Probably not. Houston Millett, Taylor Bobo, and these are good role players, but not really offensive juggernauts. So losing Aiden Holloway is a huge, huge loss. And I know Alabama's dealt with injuries and inavailability before, but this is a different circumstance where you're kind of going through SEC play versus having to see like a Michigan and playing in the Elite Eight and the Final Four and what the tournament entails.
Well, he's a 44% shooter from three. I mean, he's the best three-point shooter on the team. And that's how you make a deep run in the tournament, right? I mean, in the end of the day, when a team upsets somebody else, it's because somebody's going off from downtown. And so you kind of, you took that bullet out of the chamber. That makes it really tough.
Yeah, I mean, even the second round game against Texas Tech now is in question because
I agree.
Texas Tech is a good team, but you could rationalize it with, well, they don't have JT Toppin, who was their best player, and he's a big reason why they were a 5 seed. You take Aiden Holloway out of the equation, now Alabama is going from, some people might have had them in the Elite Eight, maybe Sweet 16 to, round of 32 team. I mean, it's not even out of the realm of possibility that they get upset by Hofstra in the first round. Like I know that they should be able to take care of Hofstra without him, but without somebody who can get as hot as him and can score like him and can shoot like him, I think all bets are off. So I think that's the big picture thing right now, outside of the Aiden Holloway and what it means for him personally, is this puts a huge cap on what Bama can accomplish this year, in my opinion.
So you talk about personal use. All right, Kennington Lloyd Smith with us here, Skinny Kenny and the Fat Man. You talk about, I did some research because I've never been a smoker, but I did some research, and if it's 2.5 pounds, I think we're talking about somewhere in the realm of 12 or 1,300 grams. And if it's 13, from what I understand, it's about a half a gram per joint. Okay. So you're talking about like 2,000 plus joints. That's a lot of ganja, man, for one guy. I mean, I'm just saying, would you really have like I eat a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel for breakfast every morning. I got like 1 bag of bagels in the refrigerator. I don't have like enough bagels to last me for 6 months. I mean, that's a lot of joints. It seems like an incredible amount of weight.
Yeah, I mean, it is an incredible amount to your point. It'll be interesting to see how they rationalize it. Maybe, it's just buying in bulk. Maybe he's just rolling larger amounts than what is, expected out of a person at one time. I know I used the word addiction earlier. I want to walk that back. I don't want to speculate anything or put that on him. We don't really know what the situation is, but it's a lot. It's a lot of weight, obviously. So, we're talking about upwards of 1,000 grams. It's a serious charge that he's facing. So we'll see what plays out, what his legal team says, what his defense is. But that's a lot. And, regardless of the situation, I think, this is a young man that needs some help. And I know Nate Oates is, committed to doing what he can to help him out, as he said. And so is Alabama's basketball program. So we'll see what happens with him. Obviously, wishing him the best and hope he's in good spirits and hopefully he can bounce back from this. But for, Alabama's team, and Nate Oates made sure to reinforce this, they got to be ready to play without him. And a lot of guys got to be ready to step up, because you just can't replicate, like you said, somebody who is, arguably the best three-point shooter in the country. Nate Oates said that he is at 1.3 points per shot that he takes, which would be the best offense in the country if that was, extrapolated across an entire team. So prolific shooter and huge loss for Alabama.
Yeah, and it's not like, well, some people think, well, if this was Colorado, it wouldn't be a thing. I think it still is a thing when it comes into that amount. Now, in the first call we take was like weed. We're talking about weed. Okay. I mean, really, we've got all these other things that are going on in our country and internationally and everything, and we're worried about weed. And I will say, like I said, I was never a smoker. I don't really drink very much either. I have a beer once in a while, but, nobody says anything about about a guy having a couple of drinks at the end of a day, or, a coach having a bottle of scotch in his office where, a couple other coaches come in there at the end of a long week or whatever and have a couple of highballs. That's no big deal. But if they were to sit there and smoke a joint, it would be like, what are you? You're a pothead. How you alter your mind, to me, is it's kind of weird, I guess, to determine whether, okay, this or that is worse than the other. But it is the law still, and it's going to continue to be stigmatized. And some people think that it's a gateway drug and all of those other things. But that's the debate that immediately some people are having. It's like, really, we're going to destroy this guy's career over weed?
Right, and that's a good point. And this is, first and foremost, I think people need to understand that this is a victimless crime, right? He wasn't hurting anybody. He didn't put anybody's life in danger. This is something that he was doing on his own. At least that's what the report says that he claimed. And, obviously, whenever something like this happens, and, Nate Oates is somewhat of an easy target for situations like this. I've seen people compare this to the Darius Miles, Brandon Miller situation and all of these things. I think that it's important to note that this was a crime where no other people were hurt, harmed, or in danger, which is important. And the thing about it is, I think you're right. I think generally people don't have a problem with smoking weed. The problem is he's in a position where smoking weed or having that much weed is an endangerment to his current situation and his career and his livelihood, which is basketball, right? Like you might say that, smoking weed or anything like that isn't that serious, but that's a violation of Alabama student code of conduct. So if he wants to be a student at Alabama and play basketball at Alabama, having that much weed on him is a deal breaker, obviously, which is why he was removed from campus, right? If you work for a radio station, I work for the Associated Press, other people might work for other corporations, it might not be illegal to smoke weed in your state, but if your job drug tests you, well, then you can't smoke weed to do your job. If you don't like it, then you have to get another job, right? That's the thing here that, we're missing in this granular conversation of, oh, well, it's not this serious. Well, if your job tells you that you can't smoke weed, well, then that's just what it is, right? If you don't like it, then get another job or choose another profession. So that's the thing with Aiden Holloway that's disappointing, is this is somebody with immense talent, God-given talent, otherworld shooting that, is in a situation where that has been jeopardized, at least in the short term, because of, this situation. Is Aiden Holloway's career destroyed? I don't think so. He's going to play basketball again. I don't know if he's going to play basketball at Alabama again, but he will play basketball again. Please believe me, at some other college or professional somewhere. So his career is not destroyed. This is just a very major setback, not only for him personally, but for Alabama's team. And that's the disappointing part. But I think it's important to have, some context and provide some necessary details when we're talking about this. And one other thing that I want to say about Alabama and how they kind of deal with these things, we're talking about victimless crimes. And I don't mean to bring this up to rehash his situation, but Drake Kirkpatrick on the football team was in a situation where he was, evading police. And there was a situation where he was kind of driving cars and he could have hurt a police officer. And Kalen DeBoer didn't kick him off the team. And he's still with Alabama. Now, he missed a lot of time, right? He basically missed the last 5-6 games, whatever it was. He missed a lot of time, and he's still working his way back. But Kalen DeBoer kept him on the team, and he's still on Alabama's roster. So there is some precedent there where, some of these legal things doesn't necessarily mean that you get kicked off the team. You might just have to sit down for a while, and that's what I would expect with Aiden Holloway.
Well, and that's the disappointing part, going back to what you said, is, team rules are still a thing. There are team rules. Just like you said, we have rules in our jobs. When I was a college football coach, I used to have to, at the beginning of each season, I'd have to sign a document that literally said that I would not bet on college sports, period. End of story. It was just something you signed. And I used to like to have a little action and so on. And you remember Rick Neuheisel got jammed up in this because he made a bracket out. And at Washington, they had a deal in the athletic department, whatever, and he made out a bracket, and everybody chipped in $100 or whatever it was, and you would win. And that was considered gambling on college sports, just making out a bracket. So, when I signed that piece of paper that said I wouldn't gamble on football, that was the end of that. It wasn't, you don't do it. So it's the same thing with these players. And that's the disappointing thing, that a guy that is making a lot of money right now in NIL and has a huge amount of money waiting for him in the NBA and has a team that depends on him would make this kind of a decision. That's the thing that blows my mind.
Right, exactly. And, that's the thing, right? We want to call these kids, we want to call these players professional. I just called him a kid, but that's what he is, right? I don't know how old he is exactly, but he's, junior in college. He's probably 20 years old, maybe 21, depending on when he enrolled. So young people make mistakes. I mean, who among us hasn't done so, but there are consequences to those actions, right? He has a strong support system, obviously. So he's going to get the help that he needs. It's, probably just going to result in him most likely not playing basketball again this year. Like I said, you never say never, but probably not playing basketball again this year. We'll see what happens going into next season or what his decision-making process is. But, really disappointing. And you could see it on, Nate Oates' face, as he did his call-in show yesterday. And, I know that he's thinking of him and so is his team. And, but now they're going to have to put that by the wayside and focus on, an upset-minded Hofstra team, because, what you don't want is to have your mind elsewhere. And, you're playing a 13 seed that, is going to be confident and has good guard play and potentially upset them, right? And then it's going to turn into a whole nother thing, right, where, Aiden Holloway is going to be thinking about the decision that he made. But if Alabama finds a way to get upset in round one or doesn't make it as far as we thought they would, well, that's just kind of like a double whammy where he kind of let his team down as well. So just a really disappointing situation. And, my hope is that Aiden Holloway learns from this situation and he bounces back from this. And this can be not only a redemption story, but a testimony and a cautionary tale to players who come after him, because this isn't an issue that's going away, right? He's not the first to get jammed up for this. He's not going to be the last, but I hope that he can use this as a powerful testimony to reach others and advise them not to make the same choices he made.
Kennington, Lloyd Smith with us. Sorry, before I let you go, our perfunctory football question. So there's this great quarterback battle that's going on in spring, but the next most important gig is probably the left tackle job. And it was like, 2 practices in, they said Jackson Lloyd is the starting left tackle for 2026. And it said that I think that Ryan Grubb said that the competition wasn't even close. That was it. So I think that's it. I like that. I like that they did that, because you got to have that leadership, on that offensive line. But Jackson Lloyd, man, that's it. It's his gig. He is a sophomore. He played some last year, and now I guess, is he a redshirt freshman? Did he redshirt last year?
Yeah, I believe he's a redshirt freshman. Yes.
Yeah, redshirt freshman. So Jackson Lloyd takes over that key left tackle spot that was left vacant by Caden Proctor.
Yeah, and this is, like I said, I like this. This is a good thing. And I saw people talking about, oh, well, why would you say it so early? You don't want to alienate certain guys in the room. Listen, this guy's a 5-star, okay? He's coming to Alabama to play. And he redshirted his first year. Now he's ready to start at left tackle the second year. That sounds like a successful development to me. That sounds like what you want. And as far as, saying certain things to alienate certain guys or whatever, Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb don't have time for that. They need to make these decisions because it's crunch time this year. They have a lot riding on this year. They don't have time to be sparing feelings and whatever the case may be. So I think it's a good thing that Jackson Lloyd was able to do so much in the offseason and early part of spring practice that he was able to get this gig. And as far as them adding guys like a Javen James who started at Mississippi State, who's to say that he doesn't work at right tackle and play well enough that he can play right tackle. Then you slide Michael Carroll into guard, and now all of a sudden you got 4 spots solidified, right? You got Jackson Lloyd, you got Rayson Delgado at center, Michael Carroll, Javen James at tackle, and now you feel a lot better about the offensive line. So I think this is a good thing that they came out and said it. I think you can debate the semantics and the timing and whatever the case may be, but the fact that Alabama has a bona fide starting left tackle is a good thing. At least I thought it was, because that was one of the big question marks going into it. Now 2 days in, you have your question answered, and now people are questioning whether it was too soon to make it. So I think this is a good thing, and it'll be interesting to see how he continues to develop as spring practice goes on.
I think it puts the rest of the linemen on notice too. You know, this is the guy and this is the leader and so on. So I think I think it was a positive thing. All right, another episode of Skinny Kenny and the Fat Man in the books.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny!
No, they didn't kill Kenny.
Hopefully they don't. I enjoy doing this. Hopefully I'll be back next Tuesday. But
do you want us to send you the image? We can send you the image the boys made if you want. We'll email.
Yeah, text that to me. That's hysterical. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is a good job by those guys. And sorry you couldn't see your own smiling face. That happens to me. Yeah. I don't know why that happens to me when I'm in that way as well, and I don't never see me, but that's a whole nother story. All right, man, appreciate you as always. Enjoy the oh, by the way, tonight, be honest now, tonight, are you watching First Four or are you watching U.S. and Venezuela play baseball?
I think I'm gonna tap into USA Venezuela. Think that feels like the most topical thing of mine. But I do just want to say, and I feel like I say this every year, whether it's on the social or if I have an opportunity to do a media appearance, putting 16 seeds in the first 4 is inhumane. It's just ridiculous. Why are we making 16 teams play each other for the right to play Michigan or whoever the 1 seed is on that side of the bracket? Like, I feel like we need to put the last 4 teams in, the last 4 at-larges, make them play it out, and then we move on. 16 seeds in the first 4 is ridiculous, and I hope at some point they change that.
Well, the even crazier part that people don't understand is the 11 seeds that are playing each other. It's like, okay, well, why do you got it? Why does this 11 seed have to play? These 11 seeds have to play their way into the tournament. It doesn't make sense, really. But what makes the most sense is going back to 64. That's, to me, it makes the most. That's first 4 thing is stupid to me. If I don't have to make it out to do my bracket, then it doesn't count. It's not the tournament. Did you hang a banner? Did they hang a banner that they made the
They do hang first 4 banners.
First 4 banner or an NCAA tournament banner? Is this considered making the NCAA tournament? I guess it is.
Yeah, I've seen first 4. It's like NCAA tournament, first 4, Dayton, Ohio, whatever the case may be. I know they hang those up. But you are right. And I think if this year taught us anything, expanding the tournament is a grave mistake. I think expanding it from 64 to 68 was a mistake. I think anything more than that would also be a mistake. And hopefully this year and the teams on the bubble, which, truthfully were they're pretty much all mid, honestly. I don't know, Miami, Ohio, I guess one of them to end up on the bubble. They're 31-0. I don't know why they were so much a part of the conversation, but you look at the teams on the bubble, their resumes, their records, there's really no reason to expand. If anything, we need to consolidate, like you said.
I haven't done my bracket reveal yet. We'll do that tomorrow on the show, but since you're only on with us today, have you made out a bracket yet? Do you have a Final Four and a national champion yet?
I've not made out a bracket yet. For now, my national champion, if I had to choose a team, I'm probably gonna go with Duke. Honestly, I know Caleb Foster injury is a concern, but I just feel like they've just been the most dominant, consistent team. I believe they swept the ACC. Boozer's just been an animal, so I'm just gonna roll with the team that I feel like has been the best start to finish and go with Duke. But we'll see what happens. As we go into the next week. I know we're not gonna be able to, I guess, compare brackets, but when we get to next Tuesday, I'll have an updated what I stand my flag as a Final Four national champion.
Well, yeah, we'll be able to compare how many Sweet 16 teams we got right. Next time we get together on that, and we'll see. I'll be very fascinated to see how far Florida can go out of the SEC there as a 1 seed in the South, and so I think that's going to be kind of fascinating too. But we'll see. A lot of people looking forward to Duke, Michigan in the final. Like I said, man, I'd love to see Georgia get through St. Louis and then upset Michigan. That would be fantastic, man.
Yeah, hopefully so. Georgia got the best of Michigan, at least on the football field. The basketball court is something that has, started to develop, at least for Georgia. So hopefully they can get it done. But I mean, just the fact that Georgia's in the tournament consecutive years is like a miracle in itself, if you ask. a Georgia alum or a Georgia fan. So we're going to enjoy that part, but hopefully they can play a little bit farther than 64.
Now, you can't tell me they don't rig some of these matchups. They're not looking down the line and saying, "Ooh, this would be fun," just to put Georgia and Michigan together again. Those two teams, because of their football history, would be kind of cool. But we'll see how it all shakes out. All right, man. Appreciate you as always. Great stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. See you next week.
We're going to break in. We'll come back. And all right, so phone lines go open. You guys want to jump in, you can jump in. 256-576-4977. What can't we call the tournament? I'll tell you next, right here on a Tuesday Top 10 show. It's the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Auburn and Georgia Tech meeting college baseball today. The Tigers plus 114 on the money line. The Ramblin' Wreck minus 145. Alabama $1.66 favorite against South Alabama, while Jacksonville State lays $5.20 against Samford plus 350. Alabama guard Aiden Holloway arrested on felony drug charges. More than a pound of marijuana seized from his apartment. He's averaging better than 16 points a game for the Crimson Tide, second leading scorer on the team. Alabama bet down from a 14.5 point to 11.5 point favorites over Hofstra in the first round of the NCAA tournament Friday in Tampa. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
So, what's your excuse?
Can these sick people be cured?
You'll need a few good ones because we're going to be locked to the tournament in just a few weeks.
Rivers for three. With his ability to drive, you're looking at a superstar.
It's the most maddening time in college hoops.
It's alive!
And we've got the big dance covered.
The flipper still fits!
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental, and they have a brand new product for you. If you happen to be standing on a concrete or tile floor, Valley Equipment has the perfect cleaning solution for you. Whether it's new construction, daily work areas, or an area that's been neglected for too long, the Valley Equipment team of experienced professionals can help you choose the right floor scrubber or sweeper for your needs. Valley even has the right cleaning products for the job. Call Valley Equipment Rental today to learn more. Make a clean sweep with Valley Equipment Rental.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Mike Owen and Owen Home Appliance. Mike has over 25 years' experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance also prides themselves on community involvement as well. They get involved in all kinds of things, sponsoring local teams and events and so on, and they make sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. It's Owen Home Appliance.
I'm going down to South Park, gonna have myself a time.
Friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptation.
Going down to South Park, gonna leave my woes behind.
And we're parking till all night, people spouting howdy neighbor.
Heading on up South Park, gonna see if I can't unwind.
That's just not right. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. It's just not right. By the way, I just went and looked at the image again that you guys did. I think I'm a little bit offended. I didn't realize how fat you made the fat man. I mean, my God, I look like I backed into a blimp or backed into an air hose or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was all Brody that made it. But I will say, I was like, we do need to add the arms, and it didn't help you out at all.
I think they need to be guns at least. I mean, they at least hang me with some guns or something. Throw me a little bit of something there. I mean, it was a time I used to bench press 347 pounds. I mean, throw me a little guns. That's something. I mean, shoulders. I mean, it's one thing to be the fat man, but I mean, you guys made it look like I buried it back into an air hose. It just blew me up. Like I'd have tethers, like a strings or something, so you could help land me or something like a blimp.
We just really wanted to send the name of the show home. With the logo.
Yeah. I mean, Skinny Kenny looks good, fine.
We did. He originally made Skinny Kenny like literally a line. Man. It was a straight line. Yeah. I was like, I don't know if he's that small.
Well, I mean, that would have been a little bit more. You would have sold that a little bit more. I think Skinny Kenny needs to be a little skinnier. Goodness gracious almighty, what you guys did to me was borderline evil. Good gracious. All right, so I did some additional math. So the part about the Aiden Holloway thing is the stamp. Have you ever heard of a tax stamp for drugs?
No.
All right, so a tax stamp, so they have like a tobacco tax stamp. Alabama requires tax stamps on cigarettes to demonstrate that state and county taxes have been paid. All right, so there's a tax stamp that goes on every pack of cigarettes or every box of whatever they are of cigarettes, okay? And so on. There's an alcohol tax stamp, okay? In the wet counties in Alabama, believe it or not, there's still some dry counties in Alabama. When I first got to Alabama, Limestone County was dry. I went over to the Applebee's. They had nothing in Limestone. I mean, it was like they had a bar still, but it was a dry county at that time. I don't think it is anymore. But anyway, in wet counties in Alabama, tax stamps or crowns or lids must be affixed to alcoholic beverages to represent that the tax has been paid, that the alcohol tax has been paid. Well, get this tax stamp thing, according to the research, a tax stamp generally refers to an official stamp issued by the Alabama Department of Revenue that must be purchased and affixed to specific products to prove that state excise tax has been paid. While commonly associated with regulated goods like tobacco, Alabama law also mandates tax stamps for illegal controlled substances, leading to felony failure to affix a tax stamp charge in drug cases. Under the Alabama Uniform Controlled Substances Excise Tax Act, enacted in 1988, Dealers who possess, sell, or transport over a certain amount of marijuana or illegal drugs are required to purchase a tax stamp from the Alabama Department of Revenue and attach them to the illegal product. Well, how does that make any sense? Apparently, the stamp that you put on your illegal product says "Say no to drugs." That's what the stamp says. Say no to drugs. If a person possesses 42.5 grams or more of marijuana or other controlled substance, you have to have a tax stamp. So let me get this straight. You have illegal drugs that you're dealing. You have to call up the state and say, hey, I need my tax stamp for my illegal drugs and I got to pay the tax on this. Now, the tax people can't tell law enforcement. The Department of Revenue is not allowed to reveal information about the buyer of the tax stamp to law enforcement, although the stamps themselves are often used in the prosecution. So you can't tell them that you got a tax stamp, but you do have to buy a tax stamp for your illegal product. Now, the cost of the tax stamp is $3.50 per gram of marijuana. So let's do some math. 2.5 pounds of marijuana is like 1,140 grams. You got to have a tax stamp if you're over 42 grams. This would be a great story for Bill Crawford to do on his show, The Point, in Alabama. This would be a really interesting story, I think, for him to do. I'm going to tell him that. So the cost, what did I say it was? 1,140 grams. So the cost of the tax stamp is $350 or $3.50 per gram. It would be $4,000 for Aiden Holloway to buy the stamp for those drugs. $4,000. It's crazy. It's crazy. You know what else is crazy? The Tennessee Titans wearing the Houston Oilers uniforms. And look, I'm a uniform geek. Let me just say this right off the top. By the way, phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. I probably should call, or I probably should check my call line. All right, let me get Grumpy in here before I do my Titans take. Because I just noticed on the call screen he's been waiting. Grumpy, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Yeah, I think back in the day when I used to subscribe to High Times, that stamp, that was just another charge they could put on you, because the stamp existed in legislature in several states, but none of them were ever issued. None of them were ever manufactured or made available. So it was another thing they could throw on you. It's another felony. It's a felony.
Yeah, it's a felony. So, that they can charge you with a Class C felony. But it is an actual stamp that says "Say no to drugs." You're supposed to buy it and slap it on her. And the tax department is not allowed to tell the law enforcement that you bought a tax stamp for illegal drugs.
I think the most amazing thing that's kind of the most, the thing that surprises me the most about this story is that the University of Alabama has a student board of conduct, man. Alabama's just a party school, man. I'm just surprised. I guess 2 pounds of weed is a lot, but in Illinois, where weed is quasi legal, you can get a pound of. The kid wasn't smoking low grade weed. I probably wasn't smoking mid. He's probably smoking high grade. So you're looking at about 1,600. He probably knew somebody. He got a good deal because he's an Alabama player. And if he's got 2 pounds, that's about $3,200 in weed. To me, how much NIL money does this guy get?
He's over $1 million.
Roughly?
He's over $1 million.
Oh, yeah. So to me, $3,000 in weed is personal use, because you buy it at that level for personal use to put it in your safe and draw from, and you don't have to keep going out and committing felonies looking for it.
But it's like 2,000 joints, man. I mean, how long would it take to get to 2,000 joints? That's a lot of weed.
No. Let's think of it this way, Tom. If you're in his position and you want to smoke weed, you don't want to have a high number of transactions to acquire the weed.
Yeah.
You want to buy the weed from somebody you know who isn't going to turn you in, put it in your safe, and that's the smartest thing to do, to be honest.
Do you have to put it in a humidor or anything? I mean, how do you keep it fresh? I mean, does it need to be kept fresh? I don't know.
I mean, it's, if he's got the sticky icky, I would put it in a humidor. I mean, I've done it before.
I put a cigar in a humidor, not a ganja cigar, just a regular cigar in a humidor.
I think if you keep it in the bathroom, it might be fine, honestly, because all the humidity.
Oh, really? What do you know about this? Yeah.
Do you think, as an Auburn fan and an Alabama hater, Oates? I like Oates, I guess, but he's kind of getting the Gavin Newsom thing going on over there. Do you think anyone will mention during the ball games that are coming up the list that's kind of getting long with this guy, like the murder and moving the gun and the frisk walkout and now the weed, where
I don't know that he's. I mean, I guess it depends on how you respond to the weed thing. I mean, the murder thing, that whole investigation was ongoing, and they did immediately. Darius Miles was off the team, and Miller. He was considered a cooperating witness in that whole thing, so they allowed him to continue to play. This deal here, it's if he fought like crazy for him to be able to play this weekend, then that would be more of an issue. But I don't even think it's in his hands because the kid's on bail. I mean, he can't leave the state anyway. It doesn't matter. It's like a non-issue.
Well, he could leave the state with a written permission from the judge.
Yeah, he'd have to get some.
But let me say this: I think that it was personal use. A lot of people that don't smoke weed have a problem with that, but I think it was personal use, and I'd like to see the guy get a slap on the wrist as far as his athletic career goes. I would like to see Oates keep the guy around, suspend him for the rest of the year, and bring him back next year. I like Nick Saban because he didn't throw athletes away, and I have a lot of respect for Nick, and I'd like to see Nate do the same thing.
I think that's probably, but thanks for the call. I appreciate that. I think that's probably the result. I think it'll probably end up going that way. I thought Wolverine Dan was in Hawaii. Is he back? Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, doing quite well. See what happens now? You bring the mafia and the drugs in, because first off, you had Botafuco on your team, and then he brings in the ganja, and he gets your heart away, okay? See how this all steamrolls down?
I don't think this has anything to do with Bediako.
Basketball in high school, they know they can be part of the mafia and do the ganja and play for Bama.
Yeah, I'd be careful as a Michigan fan that had to take down, banners and stuff. I would be careful throwing shade.
Hey, wait a minute.
You got a football team where the coach gets fired because he's a molester, and you got another coach the coach who won a national championship that's on a 5-year show cause and cheating and everything else. I'd go easy. I'd go easy as a Wolverine fan throwing shade.
Okay. Well, anytime I could, put my foot on the neck of, that elephant, I'm going to do it.
Well, sure enough, if Alabama were to get to the Sweet 16, they got to play Michigan. That's if Michigan can beat Georgia. That's if Michigan can get there.
I hope so. What? Well, we're going to get there. I ain't worried about that.
Well, I don't know. You didn't look too good in that Big Ten championship game. Didn't look too good.
You know what? We needed that. Okay, now we're getting a little humble. Now you got to go back up there and work hard. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
It's all good, Tom. But bottom line is this. That's not a good look. And that Hardaway kid, that's over 2.5 pounds, man. That's a lot of marijuana. Hey, I do sleepies. They're called sleepies every night. That's 1 milligram, not a lot. And it puts me to sleep. So if I was to take a pee test, I would fail. But medicinal purposes.
The gummy? Yeah. I didn't think that was legal in Alabama either, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe they are.
Hey, you know what? If you want me, I'll tell you my address. Come get me. I mean, I'm
Are you back from Hawaii or no?
No, we didn't go.
What? Oh, because of the travel?
Yeah, it's called a Kahuna. A Kahuna Low came in size, 44 inches of water. It was a mess.
Wow. Okay, good. Well, you're back. You're home. That's good. Well,
No, we We never went. And now we're booking down the road. So I'm going to be going to Hawaii. And then when I come back from Hawaii, 5 days later, I'm going to Italy.
Confirm with me that you got your tickets for the suite, too, when you get a chance. Let me know.
I don't. Did you send them to me or you just send them to
I sent them to that address you gave me. Whatever that email address you gave me was is what they got
All
sent
right, well, I'll double check and I'll let you know. How's that?
All right, brother. Appreciate you. It's a good job by you.
All right, bye.
All right, thanks. We're gonna break in and we'll come back, see if we can't get this top 10 in there when we return on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Installation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
It's softball time in Alabama, and the best place for your travel softball team is to play with USSSA Softball. Not only for the best travel team tournaments, but for recreational softball tournaments all around the area, as well for your high school level softball team. Plus, the USSSA National Championship this year is at the Gulf Shore in Orange Beach and the Foley Softball Complex. Now, for more information, visit alfastpitch.uSSSA.com. That's alfastpitch.uSSSA.com.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
The countdown to Trash Pandas baseball is on. Tickets are available now for opening weekend, Friday, April 3rd through Sunday, April 5th. Friday will be the biggest, brightest, and loudest opening day in team history. Plus, on Saturday, don't miss a special performance and meet and greet with Taylor Swift's guitarist, Paul Sidoti, before a special 105 start on Sunday featuring a post-game Easter egg hunt on the field. Come join us for the fun and get your tickets for opening weekend now at tptix.com. That's tptix.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. We drop into the low and mid-30s as we head into the overnight early into your Wednesday morning. Maybe more cloud cover Wednesday afternoon, but we are at least going to see temperatures climb into the low and mid-50s before dropping into the upper 30s overnight early Thursday morning. A partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures doing a really good job at climbing into the mid and upper 60s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, longtime friends of the show. To be honest with you, it's been about 20 years that we have been hooked up with TOC, and they just do such a great job. They service the Huntsville Havoc, Alabama A&M, most of the high schools in the region. They got 13 locations all throughout the Tennessee Valley. So if you have an orthopedic problem, if you're considering professional care, really, TOC, it's the only logical choice. You need to contact TOC. Make your appointment. When you need them, they're there. Always in the Tennessee Valley, TOC.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday Top 10. All right, it's time for the Tuesday Top 10. We'll close the show with this. So we all knew that the NCAA trademark March Madness and, the Final Four and things like that. So you can't say those things, okay, if you are advertising, even if you're like us and the stations that are carrying, 2 of the 3 stations we're on are carrying the tournament, you can say Final Four in terms of editorializing. Like I can sit here and talk about the Final Four. But if I were to say the Final Four brought to you by Lynn Leighton Ford, something like that, if I were to say something like that, then it becomes a violation. So these are the terms, the trademarks that the NCAA has locked up. Check this out, John. This is great. These are the things you can't say in an advertising scenario. And then there were 8. Can't say that. Can't.
Well, that's good. I need to know that whenever I'm posting about it.
You can't in relationship to the advertiser, but you can if you're just editorializing about it.
All right, good deal.
And then there were 4. Beyond the baseline. Champions play here. College Cup. What the heck's the College Cup?
I've never heard it.
Can't use that term. 8 at the plate.
We're not playing baseball.
It's a trademark by the NCAA. Elite 8. You can't say Elite 8. You can't say the Elite 8 brought to you by Talent Heating and Air. Can't say it. Final Four and Final Four Friday, first 4. We couldn't say tonight the first 4. Tune into the first 4 after the UAH basketball game in Huntsville. We can't say tune into the first 4 brought to you by Valley Equipment.
Gotcha.
Can't say it if we say brought to you by. So this is all sports ones that they had. So Frozen 4. Can't do that one. Going dancing. You can't say somebody that they're going dancing when they make the tournament. You can't say, of course, March Madness. You can't say, you cannot say National Collegiate Athletic Association or NCAA. Can't say that. NCAA championship. Can't say that. Can't say Sweet 16. They trademarked Sweet 16. Can't use Sweet 16 in advertising.
Well, that sucks for all the guys' daughters out there that are having their Sweet 16.
Can't say it. Can't say it. You can't say road to the Final Four. You can't say read to the Final Four. I don't even know what that means.
I think a reed is something that goes onto a clarinet.
That's what I thought. Can't say Selection Sunday. Selection Sunday brought to you by. Can't say the big dance, of course. You can't say the road ends here. You can't say the road to Indianapolis. You can't say the road to Oklahoma City, where they played a softball World Series. You can't say the road to Omaha for baseball. It's absolutely nuts.
That's more than 10.
Oh, yeah. I told you this one had about 30 things on it. All right, we're watching baseball tonight. To be honest with you, we're hoping that Nolan McLean, the rookie Mets pitcher who's pitched in 8 games in Major League Baseball, we're hoping that he's a witch tonight. We get over on Venezuela. That would be a good thing. Tomorrow, we'll do the bracket reveal. We have a lot on the show tomorrow. Till then, have a great afternoon, everybody.